everybody, welcome back to Little by Little. I'm so happy to have you join me today. On today's video, we're going to be working on some exterior walls. So in this project, there's two different types of exterior wall. The first type that we'll be working on today are the permanent walls. So these are the walls that once they're in place aren't going to move, God willing. And then the other type of wall that we'll be building in the next video are the walls that you can actually remove so that you can see into the project. So without further ado, let's get started. I think when you do a build like this, it's really important that you decide ahead of time which of your walls are going to be permanent and which ones are going to be removable. The process to build them is very similar, but there is some extra steps that you need to take for the removable walls. So we'll get to those later. Right now, we're going to start with some permanent walls. I decided to do the porch wall first, not for any real strategic reason, other than maybe that the porch wall does have a window in it, and I thought there might be some value in you seeing that part. The size of the wall is just shy of 14 inches, so my first step is to go ahead and actually construct the wall, and that process is no different than what we did with the interior walls. What I am going to do though before I install the exterior walls is I'm going to go ahead and do the siding first. I just think personally that it's easier to do all that on a flat surface than it is to try and do once the wall is up and in its place. So that's where we're going to start. So I have here the piece that I'm going to make into the wall. Now I still have to put the wood dowlings on the side, but you can see that I've traced out where the window is going to go, and I'm going to cut that out. And I'm also going to cut a little notch out of the top of the wall. And this is just more preemptive maintenance. When the time comes to build the ceiling, rather than just laying the styrofoam on top of the house and hoping it doesn't shift, I'm actually going to build it so that there's a notch in it and it will actually sit down inside of this wall. So I've just used a piece of wood doweling as a guide. It's the same width as the doweling, and it's probably 1.5 inches maybe wide. And I would recommend doing that probably at least 3, depending on the size of your house, 4 if you can swing it. And then we'll talk a little bit more about how that's going to work when we come to actually building the ceiling. Use a technique very similar to what I did for the floors, in that I'm going to use a template. So once the wall is constructed, I'm going to trace it out on a piece of very thin chipboard. This is about 1 millimeter thick. And then I'm going to do all of my siding work on the template and then attach it to the wall. When you go to cut your cardboard, I've traced out again where the window is going to be, but I'm actually going to cut that hole a little bit smaller than the hole that's in the foam board. And that's because I want a little bit of a lip when I go to install the window. So I've just done about 1/8 of an inch all the way around the inside, and I'm going to cut it out that much smaller on the mat board. I'm not going to worry about notching out the top for that piece for the ceiling, because it's not necessary. In fact, I want this piece of siding to cover up that notch so that you don't see it from the outside. Casing, I'm just going to use standard popsicle sticks. These are about 1/4 inch wide, and I'm going to cut them so that each side has like a 45-degree angle. So I'm going to get out my little chomper. Now, if you don't have one of these, that's okay. You can certainly use your X-Acto knife. But if you're looking for like the perfect tool for your miniature tool belt, this is it. This is like my absolute favorite, because it just cuts so nice, and you can actually cut through some pretty thick pieces with that. It has this adjustable guide so that you can pick whatever angle you want to cut at, so there's no guessing there. And it has replaceable blades, which is awesome. So I'm just going to cut out 4 pieces like that, and they're going to sit just like this. all the way around the window. Over the last couple of weeks, I've collected cereal boxes, cracker boxes, basically any kind of cardboard box from the pantry. And I'm going to use that cardboard to make the siding for the house. So I've just using my paper cutter, cut the boxes into strips. Now these are 7 16ths of an inch wide, and I was shooting for 8 inches in length. I didn't always get 8 inches. It really depended on the box itself and how big it was. But I ended up with quite a large supply. That'll probably do a couple of walls. It certainly won't do the whole house, but I'm still collecting, so eventually I'll have enough to do the whole house. I've glued on my window casings, and now I'm going to, starting at the bottom, start applying the strips of paper for the siding for the house. Now you can probably see there where I've gone in and I've drawn lines across. Those are just guidelines to keep the siding straight. I made the first one on the bottom the same width as the piece of siding. It's 7 16ths. But each one after that, I knocked off an 1/18 of an inch because we will be having a slight overhang to give it that siding look. So other than the bottom, all of the rest of them are 3/8 of an inch in width. I'm just using regular tacky glue and a toothpick to apply the glue onto these little strips. You don't need a ton of glue, just enough to make it sticky. As you can see, I've already laid down the one piece, and then the next piece is just going to go butted up against like so. And then I'm going to overlap at the bottom and there you can see what I mean about having that siding look to it. Each piece will overlap the one below it, and then for the second piece I'm just measuring out how much I need to finish the row, and then I am going to cut that little piece off. Get that glued on. And then I'm going to use the rest of that piece to start the next row. And I'm just going to carry on like that until I've completed the entire surface of my mat. Okay, so hopefully you can see where that overlaps. Hard to tell with the angles, but it does look like siding. And so I've already gone ahead and painted the trim around the window, and I'm just going to finish painting the rest of the siding. This house was kind of a reddish brown color, so I've matched it as best I can, and I'm just going to finish painting that, and then we'll work on applying that then to the wall. I put 2 coats of the paint on, and you can see that it didn't cover it all completely, and that's okay, because for this project I wanted it to have a little bit of a weathered look, and I'll probably go in with a little bit of a light sandpaper and just rough it up just a little bit more, just to make it a little bit more aged. Now, if your project you don't want a weathered look, you just simply add another coat. I would suspect probably 3 coats will be enough to cover it completely. But it'll really kind of depends on the paint sometimes too. So once I've sanded it a little bit, I'm going to put a coat of matte podge on it just to seal it. And then we'll start the process of putting that on the actual wall. And last but certainly not least, we're just going to attach it now to the wall. So I'm just going to use some regular tacky glue. You could probably use Elmer's glue if you wanted. I love this tacky glue that has the lid that sits upside down. I hate having to shake those those bottles to get the glue down to the spout. So I had to order it on Amazon though. I can't find them in the stores. So if you happen to find some, I think they might be an extra $1 or $2, but I don't mind paying for convenience. So all right. Got my weights all ready to go. Perfect, and that should dry nice and flat. All that's left now is just to install the wall. So I'm going to be using my level and my setup blocks to keep the wall upright and straight. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue now to the bottom. Go. Okay, we'll give that a chance to dry. And that's pretty much it for the exterior walls. I'm going to be doing the exact same thing on the 2 front walls, as well as a piece on the back. And then after that, we'll be doing the removable walls, which is very similar. It's just a couple little tweaks that you need to make in order to make them removable. So that brings us to the end of this video. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.